By the time you're seeing this video, you've probably already seen plenty of videos on the new Osight S. Now, I've got this a little bit early. It is going to be announced at SHOT Show, which has probably already happened from the time of the release of this video, but this is a super cool new Osight. I'm so happy that they came out with this. Another rechargeable, but it is an enclosed dot RMSc pattern, which is very important. Some people don't realize that it's RMSc. It fits on this SIG perfectly. I had all the hardware I needed inside the box to just take this, put it on. I Loctited it down, and with the included hardware, got to shooting, got it zeroed up very quickly. They do have, I left it on the table over there, they do have a tool included in the box, as well as so many kinds of hardware. So no matter what pistol you have, I don't think it's going to be difficult to get this attached as long as you have an RMSc option for a footprint. I'm really happy with the reticle options on this, and as I've been shooting it over the last couple of weeks, I've realized that this is probably the way I need to go. Enclosed dots in general are just so much more simple. They're easier to clean out and keep clean. And when I shoot with suppressors, I'm constantly touching the lenses, and I find that these are just probably, you know, again, easier to clean up after and lower maintenance. But man, does this thing shoot good. Let me go ahead and throw on my glasses, and I'll shoot some steel behind me here at 20. I really like this dot. Hey, thank you to Warbird Pro for sending out those glasses. And usually I would be wearing those ears, but this can is plenty quiet enough. The new Osight is worth the hype. Hey everybody, welcome back to Gun Tote Minnesota. My name is Andrew, and today I have the privilege of telling you about the Osight S, which is an enclosed style dot. 3 modes for the reticle. Very cool optic from Osight. Now, I've done some Osight reviews in the past, but this one is brand new. I got it about a month ago from the time that you're seeing this video. I've been able to run it on a couple different pistols, and so far I'm having a great time. There's also the Osight X. If you're looking for something a little bigger that could also mount to a rifle or a pistol, this is another option. But right now, I'm going to tell you about the Osight S, and I'll do a short unboxing, very briefly show you what comes inside the box, and then we'll get to looking at that optic. Briefly, inside the box, you're going to see a few things like your user manual, which I'm not going to go through right now, but it is very helpful. Reminder of a warranty on the inside, which is a great lifetime warranty. They stand behind their products. And then you also have this, which is a diagram telling you how to zero. Lots of people have not done a red dot before, especially on a pistol, and this diagram is going to be pretty helpful to help you understand what you need to do to move your dot itself into the right zone so you can start hitting center X's. On the other side, there is an Osight installation guide, which is going to show you how to install it into a pistol. And there's even torque specs per type of screw that you use underneath. I have not seen this yet on other products, and I think that's really admirable that they're including information like that on there. They're going the extra mile, and they want to be helpful. If you would rather see an operation guide video, you can do the QR code on your README chart here. Something I want to draw your attention to just very briefly, it might be worthwhile for newbies. If you sense that there's too much resistance when you're dialing with your tool, which comes inside the box, okay, here's your tool. This is the side that you use for navigating windage and elevation. If you're hitting a point where it's not moving anymore or you're hitting resistance, that's your warning to stop. Please don't keep pushing on that because you will damage the product. That is a confirmation. If you run into that, there's probably something wrong with the way you mounted the optic, or there's something wrong with your rail, something along those lines, and you don't want to damage it. So just stop there, take things off, and reassess if your rail is okay, if your dovetail is okay on your pistol. Check out those things first. Additionally, you have a product bag. You can carry all your parts and pieces in here. Additionally, there will be a set of screws inside. These can come apart. You can take the one with you to the range that you need. And these are all the common thread pitches and standards. I think it's so nice that they go over and above. They just kind of go the extra mile in all sorts of ways for the consumer. So you have what you need and you're not frustrated at the range with some sort of setup where you just can't install it because you needed some tiny little screws and you don't know what size screws you need. It's just so nice to have this with you so you can problem solve on the fly and get that thing mounted up and start shooting. Here is your charging cable, which is for the hood itself. High quality charging cable, comes with a cord keeper. It's kind of nice. And then you have your tool, and the tool is multifunctional. It has a Torx or star bit on the end, as well as a flathead or a standard here, which is for windage and elevation. Sort of neat. Now let's get to the bread and butter. What's inside this box? Now, full disclosure, I've already taken this out and played with it a whole bunch because I think it's super cool and I could not wait. When you first get it, it's not going to be fully charged. So the thing I'm going to recommend is grab that USB-C cable, and let me focus my camera. Grab that USB-C cable, plug this sucker in and get her charged up. You can even do it this way, charge it up that way. And then if you want to see where you're at, you have this readout on the top, which is very cool. You can press and actuate this button on the side, and that'll tell you where you are at for charge. This can charge while it's on your pistol, which is actually kind of the design. It's the idea behind it, is that you can just throw this on and get multiple charges out of the hood. This is holding charge for you. You've got a magnetic piece on the inside, as well as the conductivity portion, which grabs onto the top of the Osight. Works kind of like their flashlights, actually. Not too different. These hold a really good amount of charge, and I find that the optic does not drain down on batteries hardly at all. These last a very long time, even here in Minnesota where it gets pretty cold. You can see on the front that there's a little bit of a bezel and a cover here covering up the lens to some degree. That lens is angled and recessed slightly, so if you're going to try to do some of those gunslinger tricks like racking it off your belt or off a table, I don't particularly advise you to do that, especially with pistol optics and how much force is exerted in doing that. But if you were to do it, this would protect the lens theoretically to some degree. You have your sensor on the front, you can see there, as well as, if you look through, you can see the emitter on the back side. Your magnetic charging portion, receptacle, is on top. And maybe one of the more important parts to me, something that I just think is very, very necessary on a serious carry gun optic, is having a pair of backup rear sights. To me, that does matter. Maybe I'm just old school, but I love having some redundant option there. And this doesn't get in the way. These little nubs are not bad at all. So you can see, normally I would have a front sight for my pistol, which would kind of co-witness with this actually. Now that I think of it, I'm going to have to go and throw that on, and that'll probably co-witness really nice with my front sight, and then I'll still be able to use my red dot, of course. You can see those right here. They're on the box. So you have one option which has a 2 MOA dot in the middle, surrounded by a 32 MOA circle, or you can just do the 2 MOA precise dot. I really like that one, but I intend to try these other reticle options because they're kind of interesting. Then there's just the 32 MOA circle. And to my eye, when I look through it right now, they're pretty tight. Not a bunch of blooming. It's not bad. It does get very, very bright if you want to, or you can knock it down. You just hold on to that for a second. You can knock it down and it will go very, very dim as well. If you want to change the function, or if you want to change the reticle, then the function button is going to be the minus button here. All right, this is always a little bit more difficult. I'm going to try to line up the reticle behind the camera. This one is the bigger donut, and it's got an open center on this. Didn't like that bullet. Okay, throw the safety on. I'm going to try to come in a little bit closer and focus on that reticle. Okay, let's try the next reticle. By holding down that button for just a few seconds, it's going to switch. And now I have a dot in the center. It's going to look a little bit more full. And one more time, I'm going to hold down that dot. I can't feel my fingers. I can't even tell if I'm pressing it. Okay, there we go. There's the dot. And this is typically what I'm going to shoot on almost any pistol. And man, I'm having a lot of bad rounds, just not firing. and that'll give you a feel for what you can expect with the Osight. Man, it's really cold. So one thing I can say is that in the past, I've probably written off larger dot sizes on pistols a little too quickly. I like nice center precise aiming dots on rifle scopes very often, depending on the application. But on pistol scopes, or on pistol optics rather, I probably have been a little too quick on what makes sense. I like the dots. That's just what I like in rifle scopes. So I figured with pistols, it just makes sense. But actually, I'm finding that the bigger dot size and even the circle, the donut with nothing inside of it, is really intuitive, and it doesn't block as much as I thought it would. I thought maybe the big donut, the big dot, would actually be obstructing too much field of view. You couldn't tell what part of the anatomy you were holding on. That just doesn't seem to be the case at all. It looks like I can tell pretty well where I'm holding, and I can still, have like a really precise center aiming dot. That's a 4-inch target I'm shooting at 20 yards. I can have a really precise aiming point because I can see through and put it right on there. And then if I need the dot, or I just need a big blob, I can actually switch the reticle to the, let me switch it right now, to the dot with the donut. And that for me is probably my least preferred reticle. I do feel like that one's a little bit full, and it just does a little more than I need to for blocking the target. It'd be fine really close, like if you're 7 yards, it'd be very quick. It's hard to miss, and that's one advantage of the bigger size dot, is it's a really big reticle, and so it's quick. Your eye finds it really, really fast, and even at 20 yards on a 4-inch target, man, getting a lot of duds. On a 4-inch target, it's just point and click fast, but I don't know that it's faster for me than just the donut without the center dot, or just the center dot. I'm going to need to test that a lot more, like thousands of rounds more. But so far, the reflection, I'm not getting reflective issues. The window size is good. Window seems excellent. I have no complaints with that window size at all. It's great for me. I've had bigger windows in RMSc pattern. I've had other Osights that are just huge. They're much bigger for the window size, but on a pistol like this, I'm actually going to carry sometimes perhaps, or my Shield, the new Shield Pro that I have, that's also RMSc, and a smaller footprint feels nicer, and if I can shoot it just as fast, then I'm going to go with a smaller footprint. And the flexibility of an optic that I can recharge quickly on the go, just putting the cap on there, I don't know, I like it, guys. That's my speed. It's something that I like, and I think preference needs to be admitted, so I'm admitting my preference, but it's just, it makes a lot more sense. It makes a lot more sense than trying to take all these little tiny batteries. That's just my opinion. If you disagree, you can go ahead and comment down below why you disagree, and maybe we can both just agree that this pistol sucks right now for reliability. Maybe it's the ammo. I don't know. I'll have to test that out too. Optic is good though. Quick shout out to my friends at Anarchy Outdoors. It's a great brand. If you're looking to upgrade your Tikka or your CZ or your Ruger, it doesn't matter if it's rimfire or centerfire, they have some of the best upgrades available. It's one of my favorite brands right now that I'm collaborating with. I do some affiliate work for them and I've produced some things, but honestly, I'd be buying that stuff one way or another because I really like their improvements and their upgrades. Very, very affordable, very effective, and they actually make a difference. I don't remember who sent me these hand warmers, but it's a long time ago, and they're awesome. So maybe watch my videos. Go back and watch these. These are super, super useful because otherwise I just don't have the dexterity to feel any of the buttons or my trigger. I like that optic a lot. So I like Olight as a brand. I like the rechargeable stuff. They've sent out some things to the channel in the past, like their newer arc field and a few other lights and optics. I like the rechargeable thing. It's just really convenient in general. More and more so, I find myself gravitating towards things that are rechargeable and easy to work with. Osight and Olight, they just make stuff easy to work with. They provide you with everything you need down to your tools, your hardware, the optic, the manual, which is very, very good and explains everything, how to set it up, what to do and what not to do. And I think they're probably just a little bit more user-friendly than a lot of other optics are because of that. They're thinking through from the shooter's perspective, from the customer perspective, and I appreciate that greatly. One thing that is almost a deal breaker for me at this point is I got to have a rear sight. It's not that I don't trust the optics in general. I just have to have a rear sight, not only as a reference point, but as a worst case scenario. I always want to have something there that is going to contrast a little bit on the bottom. If I'm trying to find that dot, if I'm really struggling for whatever reason, this helps me align and find the dot. And then on top of that, if you did break a window, which hasn't happened to me yet, honestly, durability is not something I'm super concerned about with these. Essentially just having something in case the window breaks or the battery for some reason will not charge if you actually let it die, which would be hard to do. These last forever. Something like that. I like to have an iron sight option, and this has it. The function buttons, let me flip it around for you here. The function buttons make a lot of sense. I like the on-off and being able to switch through reticles. I had some fun today shooting on the bigger reticle size, the big old 6 MOA dot. And actually it might be bigger than that. I can't remember how big that dot size is, that circle. But I liked it. I wasn't sure that I would like it. And having the ability to go between reticles and choose what I want to shoot on is really nice. If I don't like it, I can switch it and go with something more simple. And if I do really prefer it, well, then I at least have it there for an option. So that's really neat to have something enclosed, multiple reticles. And again, this is going to be under $400. These are extremely affordable. And when it comes to enclosed red dots, rechargeability, I think they're the only ones on the market that do this. So as a plinker and hobbyist shooter, yes, I do recommend it. I think it's a good optic for the things I do in particular. I like to do a lot of plinking. I like to do a lot of 22. And I needed an RMSc pattern optic, and this actually is enclosed versus some others that I've had out to the channel which are open, and I just don't prefer open if I can get away with it. There's too much lint, there's too much dust, there's too much snow, there's rain. This is so easy for me to clean off. I do recommend it for at least the application you're seeing here on the channel right at the moment. I'm gonna test it a little harder in the future. I did drop it one time on accident, feel kind of stupid, but I was setting it down on the table and it dropped off the table and fell on the ground. So it still recharges. There's nothing wrong with it after one fall. I understand it's really dark. I'm so sorry about that. I'm gonna try to put in some B-roll, I'm sure. But I haven't had issues with reliability of the optic. It's not turning off on me. It's not getting dark, or it's not going off completely in the dark. I'm seeing during the recoil, I'm seeing it stay on the whole time, and I'm not getting weird reflections or anything goofy inside. Plus it has that rear sight. It retains that rear sight with the optic. I really like that a lot. Low weight, very affordable, reliable so far. I'm not going to say 100%, but I think it's 100% for me. You'll have to try it out for yourself in the ways that you use optics. But as far as, let's go ahead and do that real quick, as far as being a little bit rough with it, and this pistol is so dirty, I'm going to have to rip this thing out. As far as being rough on the optics and hitting them off your belts and stuff, it's held zero. It's not losing zero and like racking off the table or my belt a few times, my holster on accident once or twice here, just racking off that. It's held zero, and I did Loctite it. I used the hardware that they included. I'm not sure how else to reliably test it, or what's realistic even for testing, other than to shoot the thing a whole bunch and use it the way I would use it. So if you have some sort of suggestion for a way that is better for me to test it, let me know down in the comments, because I will continue testing this, and I have the Osight X that I also need to show you. And as soon as As soon as I get to SHOT Show, I'll probably have a little discussion with them, talk about a couple things with this, and maybe I'll make another video following up after SHOT Show showing you some other applications and some riser options for the Osight X with rifles or piggyback options, which is exciting.